Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Yes, yes.
Start.
Okay.
So, okay, let's start with the introduction. So, hello everyone, I am Sarthak,
And I am Chintan.
and we will be hosting today's talk on role of individual in waste management. Waste management include the processes and action required to manage waste from its inception to final disposal. The right to a healthy environment is a fundamental right under the Article 21A of the Indian Constitution. Proper waste management is essential for building sustainable and livable cities, but it remains a challenge for many developing countries and cities. Waste management is relatively expensive, comprising of 20 to 50% of the municipal budgets. Over to you, Chintan.
So, good evening, everyone. So, today we will have with us our eminent faculty, Dr. K.D. Yadav sir, to share his extensive knowledge on waste management and role of individual in waste management. So, he is currently serving at many key positions, such as solid waste management expert at Honorable Nesta Green Tribunal, waste management expert at SMC, environmental auditor at Gujarat Pollution Control Board, and he is also national compost expert. So, sir has experience of working in varied industry projects as well as has a great academic track record. Sir has over 30 journal publications and over 40 conference publications. So, we will be getting a rich pool of knowledge, which later on guide each individual in the betterment and growth of India. So, that's all from my side, and I would like to invite Dr. K.D. Yadav sir to share his valuable knowledge with us. So over to you, sir.
Okay, thank you very much, Chintan. So, good evening to one and all. Hope I am audible.
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Fine. So, today, whatever the journey of the waste management we had, I will give you the overall highlights related to the waste management, starting from the generation of the waste at household level. What are the different kind of the guidelines and what to do to take care about that waste. So it will give you the overall picture, and it's a scenario of the waste management more or less same in all the cities in India, because most important thing in the waste management, it's a individual person has to play a role, and second thing there is a need of money to take care about that waste. So most of the time, due to lack of the funds, the particular city is not able to manage that waste. So my journey related to the waste management is started in 2014. We have to requirement, but there are the certain real challenges related to the waste management. So with this, I will show you the some more presentation. This is rather than the running matter related to the photographs, what to do and what is the real picture. Okay, so I'm sharing my PPT with you. For this PPT is visible.
Yes,
Yes,
the
yes.
screen is visible.
Okay, so this is my personal details. So if you say the solid waste, it is starting with the simple word is the waste. So whenever we say that is the waste, very simple things to say any material which is not needed by either by owner, producer or processor. So we can say that material is the waste material. Now, why it is not needed? There are the number of factors. Or another things, when we say something is the waste, is anything which does not add value to the product or service or any activity, then we would call it waste. Sometimes, if I will be the very typical examples, when we bring the some kind of the vegetables, we are peeling those vegetables, we are cutting those vegetables, and then we are cooking. So it Maybe possible that while you are peeling or cutting, maybe the certain issues related to the their value, or it is maybe related to the sometimes the quality of that material, we can increase it by peeling the activities, or sometimes the that peeling is required to utilize that material, or some another, if I say, very typical thing, if you will take this piece of the paper, suppose you want to make it the circle, cut the circle. So if you cut the circle like this, it's a 4 circle, and whatever the remaining material, that cannot be used now, because my aim to make the circle from this seed and the remaining material is not useful for me. So in that fashion, either it's by not required by the owner, producer, or processor, the waste material is generated. Presently, what we have a common practice to handle, they are the municipal solid waste, they are the biomedical waste, they are the construction and demolition waste, they are the plastic waste. These are the major 4 sectors, we can say, where the we supposed to work, we supposed to take care about the different kind of the waste. So I will go one by one of this type of the waste and major focus on this waste. And then in 2016, there is a guidelines by Government of India. This is called the Solid Waste Management Rule 2016. And before that, this rule with the in year of the 2000. So this is the general picture, if I say. Whatever the waste which we are generating, it is stored either at your home or outside in a common bin, in a gallery, or maybe outside the your building. And then that waste is to be collected by the some local bodies, and then look, depending upon the availability of resources and availability of the infrastructure, this is going to work it. Maybe possible whatever the waste which is collected, it is directly reaching to the disposal site, whatever you call the landfill site, or it may be possible if the city like Surat, which is a big city, it's a 20-kilometer circle. So if you see from one corner from Varacha side to the, if you come to the solid waste disposal site in the Surat city, it's a nearby SVNIT. So it's around 30-kilometer, 40-kilometer distance. So there is a need of the transfer station, that from a small pockets the waste is collected, it is dumped at one place. That's called the transfer station. So small vehicles are reaching at transfer station, they are transferring that material, and then that transferred material are uh, further loaded into the big vehicles, and those are reaching to the disposal site. So from collections to transfer and transfer to the disposal. Or there are the possibility at transfer station, there are the processing and recovery. Here processing and recovery means that maybe the your organic waste can be segregated, or RDF, refuse dry fuel, for example, piece of the paper, wooden material, plastic material, whatever, that is can be removed, and ultimately it is reaching to the disposal site. So this is the general diagram, I can say, from generation of the waste to the disposal site. And this is the, you might have seen at number of places. This type of the pictures is not real pictures. This type of the pictures are only when we are showing some kind of the model, or we say okay, we have a door-to-door collection systems, vehicle are transported, something like that. People are reaching in dress and other things. This is the, and we have a segregated waste, organic waste, then we have a dry waste, wet waste, and the domestic hazardous waste. And you will find the real picture something like that. Either if you see the city like Indore, which is considered as a city number 1, or you consider this city like Surat, or if you say the city like Mumbai, you will find the picture of a reality of door-to-door vehicle collection is something like that. If I say here, this is picture of the Ahmedabad, you are able to see Ahmedabad, June, Paschim, Nagar Nigam, Indore. I think this is from the Mumbai, one of the places. So the more or less the situation, you will find the same thing. Uh, at certain places, you may find the segregation at home, but when it is reaching to the dumping site, something is like that. So that we have to think about that if you have this type of the waste is reaching to the disposal site, what kind of the or which problem you can imagine when it is reaching, or something like a picture like this, the whatever the fresh waste which is reaching to the dumping site at a transfer station. So small vehicles are coming, they are dumping the materials, and here actually the need of the we can say the recovery, or we can say the lot of potential of the recovery, so we can segregate further polythene, paper, cotton, plastic, and other whatever material is the degradable materials. And so it is possible. Here it is possible if you have this type of the waste, we can do like that. So that's the segregation at transfer station. This type of these transfer stations are working very nicely at a micro level. There are a number of cities in India where very good segregation system we have. So if a small quantity of waste are reaching to the particular place, then some manpower are involved. That manpower are removing the, if you see here, different kind of the polythene, so segregated this way, maybe the piece of the paper is this way, and this material have a lot of potential as a RDF. RDF is called the refuse dry fuel, which have a lot of energy, and it is the replacement of the other source of the energy. And something you will find this type of the pictures is a transfer stations, which is a realities that segregation is possible and segregated material have a potential. Now in a 2016, why I'm saying this is where is the need of this type of the notification. In 8th April 2016, Government of India is released one notification, and then they say whatever the earlier, if I read the last line here, Solid Waste Management Rules 2015 in suppression of the solid municipal solid waste management and handling rules 2000. So earlier it is coming with the name of the municipal solid waste, is called the MSW, Management and Handling Rules 2000, and then it is overruled, and then it is come into Gazette in 2015, and finally in the form of the notification in 8th April 2016. So after that, this rule in existence. If I see it here, there are a lot of responsibilities given related to the waste generator. And if I say in a very simple way, whatever is listed, if you see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 6, 7, 5, 6, 7, 8, this type of the listing is given. The purpose of this listing is very simple in a three-way. If I say whatever the waste we are generating, these are the three type of the waste we have. One, which is the in a organic nature. Second one, it is in a dry form. Third one, it is in a domestic hazard. Anyone have an idea about the domestic hazard? Can anyone say something about the domestic hazard?
Whereas in for most like helpers get like harmed, or they are not provided with adequate safety measures, so which in turn is detrimental for their health.
Okay. The domestic hazard means the, for example, if you are generating any kind of the blade, there are sanitary napkins is coming under the, some batteries are coming, tube lights are coming. These are coming under the category of the domestic hazards. Okay. Nowadays, is bulb is not very common. If you see whatever the tube lights and other bulbs are available, that's not so frequently fused, but earlier it is a very common kind of the thing. So CF and other. So this bulb, battery, some sanitary napkins, this all are coming the hazardous category, and that is for the red bin. It's called the red bin. Green for the organic nature, blue for the, earlier there are a lot of category. Now the government of India is divided only the three category. One is green, one is blue, and then small one is the red. So green is basically which is coming from the kitchen, and the blue which is coming mainly from the packing material or newspaper and other thing, and the red one is the whatever into the center, that is the hazardous. So we have to segregate this all three type of the material. Whatever the guidelines is released by the government of India, we have to follow that guidelines properly, and, and that's the in nutshell we have it. So if I say I will, before the plastic waste, I will come back plastic and CNB. First, I will say the organic waste. What we are doing with the organic waste, that's called the organic waste converter. If you see, simply write down in an open domain, you will find OWC. OWC is very common. It's called the organic waste converter. This type of the organic waste converter are available in market very easily. There are a number of societies in Surat also, some Pune, and some. There are a number of cities we have visited also, Bangalore. If I say some Bangalore, Pune, Surat, and a number of places you will find this type of the concept are working. It's a very simple, but it's a decentralized concept. It cannot be used for a Surat city, but it can be used like a one corner of the city or one society of that city. In a society, this type of the waste OWCs are very common. Or if you go to the vegetable markets and other markets, you will find. So whatever the material we have, that suppose this material is collected, it will go into the machinery. This is the basically it's called the organic waste converter. It's a nothing but a one kind of the mixer, nothing else. It's a mixing. So what we did here, because whatever the organic waste, it have a high moisture content, and so crush it, reduce the moisture by adding some kind of the material, and then we do the composting in this type of the bucket. So these are the different kind of the OWCs are available in a market by different companies. It's a big market nowadays. But this is basically nothing but it's a bucket composting. So whatever the organic waste we have, we are crushing that organic waste, mixing with the sawdust as a bulking material to reduce the moisture, kept in this bucket for entire 1 month, and then it becomes a compost. So it's called the OWC, very common. So 1 ton, these are some typical example of Surat city. That's the Morbi Trace is one of the company which is producing. So if you see, this is the internal OWC internal what is happening. So it's nothing but a one kind of the mixing we have. So these are the certain photographs related to the OWC are working at a little bit larger scale. So, and if you see, these are the some typical type of the pictures you will find. If you have this type of the, if you see, this bottom is basically composed, but it is not properly processed. You keep in mind, whatever the product you are producing, if product is not up to the mark, if quality of product is not good, nobody is going to purchase that product. So that I have observed this type of the chapatis and some is visible on top of that one, and then the compost something like that. And this compost don't have any kind of the value. Nobody is ready to purchase this type of the compost. So there is a need of the that we should make sure whatever the ultimately we are producing the compost, that is the real compost which is required by the uh, this is the farmers. So this is the Pune, this is the one of the city, they are handling something like that. This is the Ecoman, one of the company which is working in the waste management area. They are, what they did, once you dump it, they will burn for 24 hours. It's around 70 to 80 degrees centigrade. And then there's a addition of the basically phosphorus into that one. But something like sometimes reality like this, if you see bottom of that one, that if bucket is not properly processed, there are the fungus, nobody is ready to take care about that. So these are the challenges are coming also. So this is related to. Now another thing, this is about the individual, means we can say it's a decentralized level. But for example, city like Surat, where have a city compost plant. That is called the city compost plant. Means daily you are producing, take care about 1,000 ton of the solid waste or 2,000 ton of the solid waste, and that you have to produce the compost. So for that purpose, whatever the type of the compost, there is a guidelines by government of India that is called the FCO, the Fertilizer Control Order. It's called the FCO guidelines. All the specifications are given. What when you are going to sell the compost into the market, what could be the properties of the compost, and by default government has to follow. So what is happening here, when the large quantity of the waste we should take care, this is called the trommel. This type of the machinery is called the trommel. So whenever the initial waste is coming, we have to segregate that waste, and that segregation of that waste related to the organic and sorry RDF. So this trommel 200 mm to 10 mm size is available into the market. So degradable, whatever the degradable portion, so it is divided into two parts initially. Degradable go to the compost post, then screening of that material, and the compost will produce. Whatever the non-degradable we have, that is the RDF and inert material. The inert material, for example, glass, metal, plastic product, that will go to the landfill site, and whatever the RDF, that will go to the industry as the source of energy. So in general, if I say this is the conventional diagram at a city level when the material is produced at a large quantity. This is the Goa city compost plant, which is well-known plant in India, very good plant. They are producing the compost, they are producing the biogas, and whatever the RDF that is sent to the this is one of the cement company. So this is the Hindustan Waste Treatment Private Limited, one of the company. They have a this is the flow diagram about that. And what they are doing, because we all know that Goa is known for it's a tourist hub. So the food waste. Now you see this type of the picture is collected from the side. So waste material, only food waste and other waste. So what they develop, all type of the hotel waste is collected, and then collected waste will dump at one place. And you can imagine if the food waste is coming, there are a lot of oil is coming. It's a high moisture contained material, so leach is visible. It's a very common kind of thing. So but that can be taken care very easily. So they have developed some machinery which can be used to simply cut the bags, and the polythene can be removed, and that material will go for the generation of the biogas. This is the some typical photographs is collected from the Goa plant, because as I told you, so initial waste is going like that here. Okay, then this type of the manpower are involved to segregate that waste, and segregated waste in this fashion. Some plastic, so that is to be done by the um, uh, manpower. So they are standing or sitting at particular place, and a specific job is given to the particular manpower. For example, if I say this lady, this is the box, so it is connected into the bottom with the some tank. So for example, here the only the responsibility is given the plastic bottle, so she will only collect the plastic bottles. And then for someone it's a bag, someone for it's a plastic, someone for it's a chappal, something like that. So this way it's a segregated, and then whatever the organic portion we have it, that will go to the digester, then to the composting pad, then the maturity of that one is screening of that compost, and ultimately that compost will go to the market. So the another city compost plant, which is very common in Maharashtra. Uh, so the process is same, but there's a very big difference. Whatever the infrastructure is developed by the Goa Municipal Corporation, that is the entirely different. What is Nasik is happening, whatever the waste is coming, they simply dump it. And this type of the uh, flow diagram is very common in different part of the India. Whatever the material is coming, simply dump it. There is an addition of some kind of the bioculture into the fresh waste itself. These waste will start degrading, because here 40 to 50% is organic matter. The waste is dumped, then waste is picked, it is passed on from the screen, and whatever is the compost is coming, that compost will go for the maturity purpose. And the Nasik is the hub for the this grapes, so there are a lot of grapes and banana. So there are a lot of demand of the this compost. Even though now day by day the culture of the organic fertilizers are uh, increasing, so each and every farmer need organic fertilizer, because that have a lot of advantage over the period. So this type of the is very common. This is related to the Bangalore. So So if you see the more or less pictures are same, the waste is dumped, it will go to the trommel, it is passing from the trommel, then screening activity, and at the end the some compost will come. So as I told you, this is the very common type of the typical type of the flow diagram. Waste material, in the same waste material there is addition of the culture, that material will degrade it, and after the degrade it is segregated, or initially it is segregated and then it is degraded. But whatever the experience have a operator, the operator say it is easy, whatever the initial is coming we should degrade that material, and then we have to segregate that material. So similar way it is related to Mysore, it's a Mysore plant, and they are facing a lot of problem related to leachate and everything. And I will show you one of the case study of the Mysore. It is like OWC, they are doing the own composting. So what is happening here? This type of the vehicles are used, door-to-door collection, they are collecting the material, and whatever this material is dumped here, what they did, this type of the concept is very common in Chennai. Chennai is the hub for the decentralized waste treatment plant. And this Mysore is the one of the case study. And these are the self-sustainable. Whatever the waste amount of energy is required, or infrastructure is required, or uh, operating cost is required, that is to be recovered with the whatever the RDF is, the compost is coming, and it is working from more than 10 to 15 years. So whatever material is coming, they dump that material, and they trained like that to the household that you should segregate. There the role of the individual is very important. If this type of the decentralized plant you will find in a particular city, it is responsibility of the owner, that owner should segregate the green waste, green bin, blue bin, and the red bin. So it is easy while it is reaching to the dumping site, they can segregate very easily. And then this type of these segregations bins, they have a maybe wood, maybe they have a polythenes and this milk pouches and other, and ultimately compost, the organic material will go for the composting purpose, and at the end they are coming with the RDF this time. They have developed. So if you see paper waste box pieces, organic material, distillery bottles, waste cup, waste bags, road waste, oil cover, milk cover, silver waste, tins, and then some other materials, CD, cassette, beer bottle. They have a very big revenue from the beer bottles. That area, whatever they have, they told it's a lot of peoples are drinkers basically. So they are, and whatever the cap of the beer bottles are coming, that is also available. So this type of the material is they are collecting, and whatever the cost is coming, if you see here, if you see this milk pouch have also a lot of revenue. Whatever this milk pouch, it is around somewhere in between 10 to 20 rupees per kg into the market, because that further can be used. Now, I will go back some other thing. This is related to uh, organic waste, which is very common. And another thing, I will show you something is related to the plastic waste management. Uh, is any discussion you want on this stage or at the end? Okay, I will respond you at the end. Have a look of plastic waste management city. What is happening with the plastic waste? So you all know there are different type of the plastic waste are coming. So I'm not going for segregation of what type of the maybe PET, maybe HDP, maybe vinyl, maybe LTP, PP, PS, and other things. So these are the different category of the waste used for the packing purposes of the particular materials. So what is happening here, whenever this material are coming, the first exercise is the segregation. If you go to the any site, you will find there is a segregation is the first basic requirement. So these ladies are involved in whatever material is coming, and how this material are reaching, I tell you, the source of that material is interesting for to know you. Whatever this type of the bag, whatever is this is visible, This is basically packing of the material as per the requirement. So if you see here, this is white color bag. They have a 3 white color bag. All 4 side, 4 corner, you will find this type of the bag. This is the segregation of the waste. So while they are segregating in this fashion, they can directly sell to particular users. So same thing happening here. So they are getting the very good quality of the segregated, and this plant is basically targeting the right now milk pouches, oil pouches is the major their raw material. So with that material it is coming, that material is going first clean with the water, then further number of cleaning with the water and divided into the small pieces, and after that small, if I say the total, so it is coming here, then it is cleaning is going on. After the cleaning, some kind of the drying is going on, and after the drying, then further some reduction of the size and other thing, and then the agglomeration. And after the agglomeration, at the end, this type of the grains are produced. So this is the very common, typical example of the use of the milk pouches, pouches of the oils, and good quality of the polythenes. And whatever this grain at the end is used by the manufacturer of the plastic based chairs. They are purchasing this grain depending upon the quality, depending upon the requirement of the grain, the that particular plastic waste processing site. So in a nutshell, what we are doing here, whatever the plastic waste is coming, first you have to clean that plastic waste, remove that oil and milk, divide into the small pieces. After that dividing, you have to dry that one. So they are the dryer are used, and if you see, this is dry material is collected here, and after that dry material, they are burning that material. For burning of material in such a manner that it start agglomerating. So if you see agglomeration like a flour, which when we are preparing the chapati, up to that stage they are going, and then there are the simple mechanism to divide into that thread and cut down that thread and convert it into the granular. So these are the some typical photographs of that one. I will show you. Okay. So how they are using, and then they are converting into the plastic waste. So this plastic waste processing site are, I think this is Surat is the unique site. There are some other places also I have seen, but they are producing very good quality of the these grains. Another thing which is in a Surat city itself, there's a construction and demolition plant. These are the 4 plants in India, one in Surat, one in Delhi, one in Pune, which are working, and 4th one is coming into the Mumbai. So that plant is related to the C&D. Whenever we have any kind of the construction activity or demolition activity, there are the generation of some kind of the waste, and that waste ultimately we have to take care. So this is the SGPPL is one of the company, and they are handling around 300 ton per day. So this, if you see details of the project agreement 2016 and that period for 20 years, that, and this is working of PPP mode. So uh, all the infrastructure is set up by this particular company, and then Surat Municipal Corporation responsibility that they have to provide this C&D waste. And but this type of the plant are only feasible in a big cities where there is a real problem of the C&D waste handling. Otherwise, it's a failure. So whatever the concept is the same here also. Whatever the feed is coming, we have to scrub it, we have to segregate it, we have to wash it, we have to recycle and take care about the wastewater also. So rather than this, you see this these photographs here. So this is the C&D waste is coming here. It is going into this one, crushing that waste into the small sizes, and then passing from the screens. So the particular, if you pass for the particular type of the screen, it may be the this type of the granule, or it may be the small size of the granule, or it may be the sand like that. So what they are producing here, they are producing the different 4 kind of the material. Aggregate 20 plus mm, aggregate 5 to 20 m. This is the concrete sand, and this is the plaster sand. These 4 type of the material they are producing, and whatever the water they are using for the cleaning purpose, until they have to treat it. And nowadays what they did, they have also developed the some kind of the concrete brick block and the paver block. So they have a nowadays very good market. I don't know. Yeah. So this type of the product nowadays they are manufacturing, and this whatever the paver block they have prepared the tree pit, main holes, but their major business is the this paver block, this type of the paver block and this type of the paver block. Other block like hollow break, main holes, tree pit, their demand is not so high, so they are not focusing, even though they are manufacturing this type of the product, but their major focus on this product. Whatever is in addition to this, whatever this is collected aggregate, this is aggregate of different size concrete sand and the plaster sand, and then by using this plaster sand and this and some fly yes, they are able to produce this type of the paver block, which have a very good market into this one. So this way, the whatever the CND waste we have, that CND waste are used in a Surat city. So now, rather than going to the more presentation, now I would like to discuss one to one that what is query in your mind, so I can explain that how it is functioning and how it is working. I can see some chat box if anything. Okay, no questions so far in chat box.
Chinmay has raised his hand, so you can unmute yourself and ask.
Yeah, anyone speak to you.
Great. Thanks a lot. Am I audible?
Yeah, audible.
Am I audible, sir?
Yeah, audible.
Okay. Sir, actually, I live in Mumbai, so the concept of waste management is actually really required here. So, the waste segregation that happens in like at an individual level, like let's say for example, Japan, where each household does their individual waste segregation. So there is a red bin and there is maybe a green bin. So why can't we do things like this even in cities in India? Like even if it is Mumbai, because in Mumbai that doesn't happen at all. So where is the problem for doing that waste segregation at a household level, at a very nodal level?
So, Chetan, there are two challenges. I tell you practically, because fortunately I am involved as a to prepare the city compost policy for the government of India. It's not only that segregation is the problem as household level. What is happening? Suppose I am segregating as a household level, and if I am able to see when the bin is collected by the person who is coming from ULB, he's mixing that both type of the waste. Then my interest, I will lose my interest for the segregation purpose. Nowadays is the major challenge is not segregated by the individual person, because after the segregation also itself, the material is mixed as a ULB label and it is dumped at a landfill site, or it is reaching to the, so it's a not only the failure of the individual person, it's a more failure I can say nowadays is faced by the ULB due to lack of the fund available with them to take care about that waste. If ULB are able to manage the segregated waste, then they can force to the, so as per guideline they say segregate, but if you see, I'm also observing the person who is coming from the SMC, even though there are the two bins, green and the blue, but once when it is reaching to the transfer station, it is mixed. So that is one of the reason people are not showing their interest. Otherwise there are some very good example or case studies like Mysore, or there are number of places very good examples are also available. If the at decentralized level waste taken care properly, people are ready to segregate.
Okay, sir. Got it.
Anyone wants to ask question? So we can drop in chat or He can directly unmute himself.
You can unmute, you can discuss. No issue.
Okay. So till then, I have one question.
Yeah.
Since I have one point to discuss, we will talking about circular economy.
Yeah.
So, can you throw some light upon that?
Okay. The purpose of the circular economy means basically, if you see we have seen the transfer station. So whenever that material is reaching at a transfer station or at a dumping site, before that dump into the landfill site, there are the possibility or there is a potential that we can recover something. For example, paper is recovered, wooden material is recovered, plastic is recovered, paper bag is recovered, that all, or metal is recovered, whatever, that all can be recycled further. And so the circular economy, the concept of the circular economies means whatever we are dumping, that we can rotate once again. So this is the bag of the packing of the milk bag and other thing. So milk bag, it is going, we are producing the granules is producing the chair, and we are getting some amount of the money. So now here, whatever the money we are investing for collection of that material and processing of that material, and once we produce some kind of the product, it is coming back also. So that's the concept of the circular economy we have. The money investment and money is coming back.
Okay, sir, got it.
Uh, Dr. Yadav, I have some points.
Yes, sir.
Yil Patel.
Yes.
Yeah. I think Professor Yadav have given very nice presentation over here, and he described all kind of waste. But I could see that he's also working very closely with that another kind of waste, that is flower waste, if I'm not wrong, and he has developed some patent also on that. So can you put some light on that, that what the flower waste and how it is utilized for your from your research point of view? Because your many students have worked on flower waste. So how is it useful to the society?
Okay. Actually, as we all are aware about that, whatever the flower waste we have, a flower of the one of the things which have only value before offer. Suppose you have a bouquet, it is the valuable material when you have not presented. Within a second, it will convert it into the waste. That is the only the flower waste which have a lot of value, and within a second there is a no value. Okay, so what we can do with that waste, and another thing, if you see the flower waste, either it is offered at a temple, or it is a mosque, or it is a church, or if you see the when people are died, then onto the dead bodies also. So there, that waste have a some kind of the, we can say, we rather than throwing into the with the solid waste, we prefer to throw into the river and other things. So if you see, even after the Ganesh Puja, you will find all the river is flooded with the flower waste. The reason being, we have some kind of the astha, some kind of the myth, we don't throw, we don't take. So what we do, actually we work for so many years to take care about the flower waste, and we have collected that flower waste, and after the collecting, we have developed some machinery to cut that flower waste. So because the problem with the flower waste, uh, it cannot be divided into the number of pieces with the some chopping material and other things. So there is a need of some kind of the machinery which can uh, divide into the small pieces. So we develop that, and then we compost it by developing some kind of the special reactor to take care about that flower waste. And from that flower waste, so what is happening right now, our in campus also, I am running some machinery from so many years continuous basis, and we are presently we are collecting the waste from the Ikshana temple in front of this our SB90 gate, some the Sai Baba temple, and some main Ikshana temple, and moreover from the Umrah Samsan Ghat. And I tell you, when this Corona Kal, Umrah Samsan Ghat is our major source of the collection of the flower waste. So we are collecting that flower waste, we are segregating, because segregation anyway is required. There is always some piece of the polythene, some plastic balls, some thread. We are removing that, dividing this into the small pieces, and then we feed into the machinery. And if the moisture is very high, for example, in case of the rainy season, then that we are adding some, this is the sawdust also to take care about the high moisture. Otherwise, in general, the sawdust is not required, but it is only required in a rainy season. And that reactor is daily turning for 5 minutes and 10 minutes, and we can produce a good quality of compost within a 21 days to 30 days. And as if I say in a thumb rule, if we are collecting the 100 kg of the flower waste, we are able to generate 30 to 40 kg of the compost. So around 30 to 40% we are generating. And moreover, the beauty of that compost is, in general, compost you will find some kind of the bad odor. But here, whatever the compost which is produced from the flower waste, it have a very good smell. And we are going return back to the society by, we have a tie-up with the some farmers. So those farmers are coming and we are giving the free of cost that compost, and we call it khat prasad. If you will come my laboratory, I will hand over one kg bag to you, and it says it's a khat prasad. So whosoever is coming for visit of the laboratory, we are handovering this 1 kg bag in the name of the khat prasad. Because otherwise what is happening, that flower waste is thrown anywhere, or it will dump into the river, which have a lot of nuisance. It is deteriorating the quality of water. So with that thought process, we develop that process, we have designed that machinery, and we are able to produce from flower waste to the good quality compost. And now we have added some more dimension into that one. There are number of temples in India which along with the flower waste, bale material is coming, bale patri. So that's the big challenge for us. And so now we have developed the machinery for to divide the bale patri into small pieces. So we developed some shredder for that one. And then we have developed the technology how the leaf waste can be uh, taken care along with the flower waste. Because otherwise, if you see Shivji temples, in the Shivji temples is around 50 to 60% is bale patri and 30 to 40% of the flower waste. So that's the challenge. So more or less we have resolved that challenge now. So now we are able to take care about the any kind of the waste which is coming from the temples, and we can produce the good quality of manure with those samples. If anybody is interested, he or she can visit the laboratory, or there are videos are also available in open domain. You can check it. And now we have developed one startup also related to the flower waste management. Fortunately, we got the grant also from, this is NIDHI TPI and some other funding agency also. And we are running those plants successfully, and we have approached to the government of India for the mass to go for the mass productions also. So this is about the flower waste management.
Okay, thank you very much. So just for our students, now a lot of emphasis is also there now, waste to energy. So that part is also taken care by different agencies across the country. Even our Surat Municipal Corporation also, they are using this waste to generate a good quantity of water, this power also. So now everywhere we have to convert waste because population are increasing, so we have the waste. But how to utilize waste for our purpose? Now that is the time coming up. So thank you, Professor Yadav, for nicely replying all these aspects. So students' query you can handle now. Okay, thank you.
Yes, thank you very much. One query by Vardhan Mittal, that sir, there is some measures like this for e-waste, as nowadays there is a drastic increase e-waste. Correct. If I say in India right now, the related to the e-waste only whatever the policy we have that policy we have a collection of the e-waste properly for disposal. There is no plant as such as is a bigger level or large level where we can, what we are doing practically, whatever the e-waste is coming, we are removing that plastic material from that e-waste basically, because all type of the whatever right now the plastic waste is coming, uh, sorry, e-waste is coming that have a more covered with the plastic. So the first challenge, we have to remove that plastic, and then whatever the other materials, that is recovery of the metals and other things. So that is also going on cut it down to small pieces and other things. So as government support this business, how we how we claim the subsidy, in which form the subsidy you want to ask is Karthik, so I can respond to it. Subsidy in terms of the setup of the plant, or for example, if I say for city compost from the government of India, there is a subsidy that government will give you the 1,500 rupees per ton of the per ton for the compost. Other than whatever you are selling to the market, whatever you sell, if you sow, I have sold the, for example, 1,000 ton of the compost in a year. From the government, you can claim the 1,500 rupees per ton as a this called the supporting price and other thing. What about the e-waste? E-waste at present, e-waste, as I told you, the major the e-waste which is coming into the market that's covered with the plastic. So we are removing the plastic portion and we are uh, uh, processing that plastic. Other related to the which have a heavy metals and other part that is still under policy, we can say there is no clear-cut guidelines how to take care about that material. Okay, any specific query? You can ask anything related to the Chirag. You can ask the question also.
Yes, sir. Sir, nowadays government declare a policy regarding the scrapping of the cars or vehicles which age is older than 15 years. So, sir, can you throw some light on the what are the parts, what are the waste uh, creating from the scrapping parts which can be not used in new vehicles?
See the scrapping policy is the purpose of this scrapping policy by the government of India, because whatever vehicle which is 15-year-old vehicles, actually they are creating lot of contributing basically in terms of the environmental pollution, either may be form of the air pollution, maybe the form of the oil pollution and other things. So with that concept, government came that we should not allow the vehicles after the 15 years, because there are a lot of wear and tear into the material, uh, and those are creating a number of ways. These are the contributing in terms of the pollution. The scrap policy is the very simple policy. What after the I don't know what will happen practically, because even though if you see after the 15 years, government may say this vehicle is not allowed, but is really practically not allowed onto the road, or to pick up to check that vehicles, check the RC book that it is 15-year-old or it is a 16-year-old. It's a very difficult practical. So, but even though it's a very good initiative that most of the vehicles after the 15 years are more or less have a lot of operation and maintenance issues. So public practically will prefer that I have to sell that vehicles after the 15 year or so. Then there is the, if I say the scrap in terms of the vehicles, it's not a big challenge, because there the segregation of material is very easy. If I say maximum portion, either it is a plastic or it is a metal. Maximum, if you see the body of any kind of the vehicle, either it's a plastic or it's a metal material. Some portion it's a wiring related to the electric, and then tire and other things, some interior kind of the things. We have a seat cover and other things. So the advantage of we can say the scrap policy, that we can easily recover that material. It can be crushed, it can be melted, it can be again come back to the market. So but only the practical challenges to ban onto the vehicles, or to make sure that vehicle is not onto the road after the 15 years is a question mark basically. Okay, Sarthak, if there is a no further query, I think we can wind up.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. So thank you very much, sir, for joining with us and sharing this valuable knowledge and making us aware about the solid waste management. And we would also like to thank Abhishek sir and Ravikant sir for their support in conducting the event, and all the faculty members, Deputy Director PL Patel sir, and all the faculty members that have joined, and thanking all the participants also for their patience listening. So thank you to all.